Thank you, everybody, for coming. I'm really excited to present Cecilia Zieba. This is Cecilia's first exhibit. I still can't believe it. I have to say it like that every time. How that's possible, I don't know. But I'm lucky, and we're lucky to be witnessing the first exhibit. So that's a fantastic thing.
Thank you.
Yeah. These paintings happen to be very special, incredibly detailed, so much story behind them. We went over to Cecilia's house the other day, to her studio, Jessica and I, and on the back of one of her paintings, there was a quote by Paulo Coelho, and it was, "Do you remember the first time you realized you were alive?" And so that just really, it seems mundane really in some ways, because here we are walking around, we're alive. But there's such a difference between just walking around aimlessly, mindlessly, unconsciously, and then when we realize alive, And I just want to ask Cecilia, what does that quote mean to you?
Well, I knew that I loved art when I was a child. I knew that it was something that I really enjoyed doing, but I never pursued it. I went about doing everything else, supporting, at that time, my husband's career, which excelled, and I didn't paint. And I couldn't even call myself an artist. It took a lot of, I read The Artist Way. I don't know if anybody's read that.
Yeah.
And when I read it, and with the highlighter, oh my God,
Yes.
I'm in bed at night, the light, hanging over. Chefs cook, writers write, artists paint. Well, what an enlightening thing. It was as if somebody was choking me for me to get those words out of my mouth, that I'm an artist.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like how freaking lost do you have to be? There was, I call it the trifecta, which was 9/11. My dad was diagnosed with cancer, he was dying, and my parents were visiting, and I was living a lie. I was living a lie that my marriage was over, and I'm like, keep the charades going. And his last words to me were, paint. You should paint. And that sat deep inside of me, that everybody could see it, but me. I couldn't see that I am an artist. And to begin that journey of picking up the paintbrush, and I was copying things, I was copying Klimt, I was doing all kinds of stuff just to paint, to get back in the groove of it. And then I realized I have to get my own voice, my own story, and this collection is the story.
It's incredible. I know that this painting was the first of this series. Can you tell us something about this painting and the title and all of the things?
Are you guys ready? Okay. It's Blue Horse. When you're going on your journey to find yourself, it was like, okay, well, I guess I should not keep reading all these self-help books. I better go out tonight and meet people. And okay. I literally have a stack. I've donated them. Hopefully I don't have to revisit them. And I met a cowboy. Okay, I know, it was interesting. And I had my little beetle boots on, and I was at a restaurant in Del Mar, and he ponied on up next to me. And he looked me up and down, and you know what he said? "You don't know a damn thing about a horse, do you?" I was appalled, and I didn't even know what it was. And then I go, no, I don't know a damn thing about a horse. And that impetus, I can be impetuous. I can do crazy things. I decide I'm going to take my daughter on a horse trip to go ride a horse. And that's what we did. We went out into the desert.
A great pickup line.
Yeah. If he only knew me now. And that literally was the journey. And so I went to a horse clinic, because I'm a horse person now, and it was Buck Brademan, and he is the real horse whisperer that they did the movie, right? Robert Redford, and I'm sitting there like, oh my God, and the man who was getting me onto the horse said, this horse really likes you. And I'm thinking like, well, I'm sure is scared as shit to get on top of that thing. But what it is that the horse is a very intuitive animal. It feels your energy. It feels everything about you. It's like you have a dog, any animal, they know, they sense. And I call it my spirit animal, that the horse knew I needed it. On this property, there was a labyrinth out in the desert. What I found interesting about it is that they were beach stones. It used to be all underwater. And so I made the stones that even though it's the desert, it was water. And that's why they're blue. In the desert, especially during the monsoon season, there'll be clouds. And I remember being out there going, it's going to really rain later. It's going to rain. I go, no, it's not. It's so freaking hot. It's not going to rain. And it does come. And that rain is the refreshing. We all need the rain. We need the refreshing. We're burnt out. We're tired. We're running like hell from whatever it is. So the only other piece one thing I want to mention is that over here, there's a sperm. And, the sperm is in the throat chakra of the horse because the horse gave me a voice. I lost my voice. I lost who I was. I didn't know I was an artista, and so people will come into your life that are there for a reason, a season, a word. You don't know a damn thing about a horse, do you?
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, I want to talk about now this painting. Listen, if we've all been on the planet this long, we resonate wildly with this story. And so this painting really resonates with me. When you explained to me what it was about, I was like, I know exactly. I've lived this. I know exactly what's going on. So could you please explain to us about this?
Yeah, this painting is called Falling Into You. And here's the layers of our life rising up. There's little penises that we've enjoyed, okay? and so the woman is very interesting because you know where you've been. When you're diving, you're doing a back dive to make that leap of faith of whatever it is. And it's only when you commit to the turn of whatever it is in your life. You need freedom from a relationship, whatever it is. It's only when you make that turn that you get to see what's below. And so we're still playing off of the labyrinth here. I painted it with pearls because pearls are made from an irritant. That thing that's in your life that's bugging the shit out of you, you're tired of it, it's there and it's rubbing, but that mucus of the oyster is making it into something precious. So whatever it is, just realize it's a learning lesson. It's a pearl of great price. It's a gem of beauty. And so all of that is where, she's now diving into it. That's why it's a pearl.
I have had these really profound meditations where I can see connect the dots of the universe, and I realize that the lessons that we have in life come around, and for me it's always been like in a concentric circle, and every time the lesson comes around to me again or to us again, it comes back stronger until we learn it. And so this really resonated with me. So I know what that is. I've seen that before in my meditations and in life. I've seen that. And I definitely resonate with all of this. We call in the lessons of life, which are the greatest gifts that we call in. I mean, that pain, that thing that tears everything down and we rebirth is the most incredible gift that we call in. in life. And so I understand this. And also in art, I always say this to when I guide, because this is how I do it. We get to these points in art or in life where we touch edges, and it isn't just to touch the edge, it's to back dive into the unknown, because only in the unknown is there magic, and is there love, and is there all of the things that we always hope for. Peace is on the other side of that back dive, of that surrender into the unknown. Let's talk about this one too.
So, well, this is the next painting. So if you see here, she's diving down, and I delineated, this is the crazy world here. This is the quiet world that we need, the contemplation. And you can see that here, because she went to the center, I wrapped the pearls around her. So she's going down into the quiet, to the deep. You see other pearls and gems when you go into the quiet, into the deep. And if you've ever gone diving, you'll hear your breath, when you're underwater. That's what's happening here. And originally I thought, oh, it's going to go up and it's going to be like the stars, but I just enjoyed the quietness of this piece of going deep.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. I think maybe people will like to ask you some questions.
Does the end of like the full picture sometimes come into view after it's all done, like maybe sometime later, or is
it's I have, like I say, it's an idea and I'm working on it, and then like I'll go like, this is a lot, it needs to be quieter here, or I'll just start off with the sky, and literally squeezing paint on a palette, and whatever mood I'm in, like that's what's happening. I can't explain it any way else.
Did you have training as an artist then before, and then you stopped, and then you started?
Well, I was born an artist.
Yes.
I never had any formal training outside of high school. All I can say is a writer isn't writing a novel until they write their first poem. And it's something that progresses, and like it came later in life. I always had a really great eye for color. I had a really great teacher in college that showed me how to take the spray bottle and put it on a big palette and smooth it out till it was like liquid. And it's only in the learning process that you start looking at, like, reds are super hard to paint. They're not transparent, they're not translucent. You have to have a very, very white background. And that's, you learn. You learn through the process.
Yeah. Tell us if there's anything else that you want us to know about the series, or your journey, or your artistic journey. What would it be?
Signs are going to come to you. The signs of the stone, the lesson of going in, and like in this painting here, the person has become the walking inward. Every morning you look at yourself like, shit, did you get enough sleep? Did you drink enough water? I mean, we go through those different phases, and don't even talk about menopause. So here, is the contemplation of looking inward, reflecting, and you could see like the water is moving. It's moving. Our life is moving, and you can see like here, this is going on, but the face, we have to look at ourselves in the face, and we have to take the time to contemplate of, who am I? What am I doing? What is my purpose? Why am I here? Taking the time to freaking get quiet. I'm a huge podcast person. It's like there's something always going on in the studio that is feeding my soul while I'm painting. It's telling me something, and I know that all of that good stuff that I'm putting in is coming out because the paintings are alive, and I'm going, oh my God, they're fantastic. And I'm like, well, who, you did it, I mean, but I recognize it is the gift, it's the muse.
Yes.
And it's feeding yourself the good stuff. You know,
Yes.
McDonald's is not going to feed you. It's not going to turn out like this. You know?
That's so true. Does anybody else have any other questions?
I was really struck by the painting on the other side of this wall.
Yes.
Oh, the passion flower,
Oh my
the passion
Yes.
flower. Okay, you know, artists, we get nutty, and you know, we read things, we do this thing, and there's this famous romance writer, you know, a relationship writer in La Jolla. I'm like, oh my God, you know, I'd like to be on the cover of her book, so when it sells 1 million, I'll get a little fraction. I mean, these are the things that we say to ourselves, like, this is how it's going to happen. You know, forget the peanut butter and jelly, like, yay, you know, it's going to be great. And so I reach out to her, and she literally got back to me. I'm like, oh my God, this is it, my big break. And she said, well, if I'm only talking about couples, so if you do a couples painting, I may be interested. That was it. That was the impetus. It was the word, right? You don't know a damn thing about a horse if you just do a couples painting. I do the painting, you know, and we grew that passion flower in Florida by the front door, which I always thought was like, oh my God, it's the most beautiful flower I've ever seen in my entire life. And it's very purple. And I was thinking, I'm painting the most purple painting I've ever painted in my freaking entire life. And that movie that Oprah was in, The Color Purple. Well, then I have to get into the movie and I got to find the line, and like, what was the line? And in the line, Celie says, Oprah Celie, I can't believe you can't walk past the color purple and not notice it. That's what God made it for, that you cannot walk past it and not notice the color purple. So I'm going, if anybody walks past that and they don't know that freaking painting, you know, they're not in touch. So, I mean, that literally that's the painting. But if you hear it, it's the life story. It's a child in Florida gazing at the wonders of the universe, this beautiful passion flower, and what, manifesting now? You know, it's everything that we do in life. It's all those moments. And when we align ourselves, you know, with our gift, magic.
Oh, magic.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions, or do we end with magic?
I like magic.
Bravo, Cecilia. Ah. Thank you.